is Collette Douaihy. I go by Coco. I am Chief Creative Officer of Dentsu Health, and I was the jury chair for Health and Wellness and Pharma Craft. The judging experience was terrific. I had a great cast of characters in the room, lots of diversity, lots of great conversation that we took our time and we made sure that we gave every piece the time that it deserved. We went long. We were the longest jury to go, and we had a lot of pieces to go through. And I think, you know, with this, it was a little different than other shows for just pharma or just for health and wellness. We were judging craft. And when you're judging craft, you really are judging craft first, idea second. Sometimes they're synonymous, but ultimately you are looking at the craft of the piece. So you have to change that mindset a little bit to really think about where the piece sits, the category and why, and really focus on craft. Yeah, there were some trends in craft this year. What I saw immediately was animation, but I wanted to make sure, being a good chair, was that I shared that, or I asked the jury if they had seen any trends. And that one rose to the top. And when I say a trend of animation, animation's been around for a while, right? So it's not that it's necessarily new. But in pharma, we saw a lift in animation in the pieces. Whether that had to do with the, COVID still and production values, or just pure craft of the animation, these pieces were unbelievably beautiful. And it was nice to see it in pharma too, to a level I've never seen before. It really, the animation and the quality of the pieces really are propelling our industry further, especially in pharma. One of my personal favorites in the show, from a purely pharmaceutical craft perspective, was House Rules. This piece was a phenomenal piece for script, set design, the craft of the entire campaign. And the reason it was my favorite is because it really, in pharmaceuticals, it's a highly regulated industry. And to get a piece like that through, I'm sure that team had to go through a lot to make sure that that got approved. A ton of production value, even down to the casting, everything was immaculate as far as craft goes. And I think, for me, I love that piece because it was in the pharma space, a highly regulated space, and it pushed the boundaries much further than I've seen in years. Some of the other pieces, like I said, animation, were amazing. Not in craft, it's a little different. You won't see as much of the technology come forward, but maybe the technology of the craft is there as well. So you have to look at all facets of that. House Rules was one of my favorites. The other favorite I shared with the liaisons today, which was a piece called Trapped. You saw it, a beautiful story where, this story didn't even have a script, but it was just watching this woman struggle in her day-to-day life and feeling trapped and going through that same motion of having, compromised lung function. It was just the empathy and even sympathy for her story played out beautiful. And another thing, it did really well in sound design and music, right? For such a simple piece, that music and sound design propelled that story in a way that, sometimes a script would, where it didn't need one. They were probably my two favorite pieces. We have a great Grand LIA, two great Grand LIAs. We have the Unwearable Collection, phenomenal piece of craft. This is a piece that, the jury and myself felt that it was the tenacity of that piece and how far they pushed that craft. It's a whole new level. Similar ideas out there in the space, but not as well crafted to that level. My other favorite piece was Little Sugar. This piece we also showed this morning at the liaisons. It won for health and wellness. It talks about sugar being disguised in all different ways, and hidden sugar, and the problems that come along with that for obesity and diabetes and things like that. This campaign is a beautifully well-crafted campaign, from the copywriting, the illustration, even the typography. It took several golds. It took the Grand LIA for health and wellness. A piece that we talked about this morning, this piece will probably go on a global roadshow and become a global piece, which just talks about the diversity of the piece and the importance of it. I thought it was phenomenal. And I feel very proud of both of the Grand LIAs, and so does the jury as well.